The jinn states, as above, so below. The infinitely small is analogous to the infinitely great. An atom is a complete tiny solar system. The heavenly Jerusalem exists in the macrocosm. The heavenly Jerusalem also exists within the microcosmic human being. The new heaven and a new earth will exist. This will be the future new heaven, heavenly Jerusalem of the macrocosm. When a human being is Christified, then he becomes transformed into the new heavenly Jerusalem of the microcosm. As above, so below. This is the law. The new Jerusalem in the macrocosm, as well as in the microcosm, descends from the superior worlds and is filled with terribly divine powers. The new Jerusalem, either in the future planet Earth or in the planet human being, is illuminated by the immolated Lamb. In the macrocosm, the purified planet of the future, as well as its internal bodies, will be heavenly Jerusalem of the future. The Christified body of the human being, with its with their Christified internal bodies, constitutes the heavenly Jerusalem of the microcosmic human being. Everything that happens in the heavenly Jerusalem of the macrocosm is repeated within the heavenly Jerusalem of the microcosmic human being, as above, so below. The Christified souls will abide in the future heavenly Jerusalem of the planet Earth. Only the Christified soul of the initiate abides in the heavenly Jerusalem of the human body. The physical body of an initiate is the heavenly Jerusalem of the the microcosm. This Christified body is filled with terrific powers. The 8 major powers of the mystics are the following. Anima, the power to reduce the size of the physical body to the size of an atom. Marima, the power to enlarge the physical body to the point of touching the sun and the moon with the hand. Lagima, the power to decrease the weight of the physical body so that to that of a feather. We can float in the air with the physical body thanks to this power. Garima, the power to willingly increase the weight of the physical body to that of a mountain. Prapti, the power of prophecy, the power of clairvoyance, the sacred ear, psychometry, telepathy, and intuition. The power of understanding the language of the animals. Apollonius of Tyana and Saint Francis of Assisi were able to communicate with animals of the forest. Prakanya, the power that permits the mystic to submerge within the waters and to live submerged in the waters without receiving any harm. The great Guru Deva Sivananda told us of the case of the Swami Trilinga of Benares, India, who was accustomed to living 6 months of the year submerged within the waters of the river Ganges. Vasitwan, the power with which the mystic can dominate the wildest animals, also the power to produce or pronounce words which enchant and quiet poisonous serpents. Ishatvan, the power that permits the saint to resurrect the dead. Whosoever reaches this height is a liberated one, a lord of the living and of the dead. Anyone who walks on the path of Christification must develop these 8 powers. These powers of the heavenly Jerusalem are conquered with internal meditation, with the condition of absolute chastity. When the human body is converted into the heavenly Jerusalem, then it becomes a marvelous Christic body. Practices. The mystic must lie down on their bed with tranquility. Ask the Lamb for the assistance of an angel which specializes in the jinn science. The mystic must beseech the angel and the immolated Lamb to take him or her with their physical body into the superior worlds. We, the brothers and sisters of the temple, advise you to invoke the angel Harpocrates, who is a specialist in the jinn science. Beg to the Lamb, beseech him to send the angel Harpocrates to you. Release all your thoughts from your mind, clear your mind. It is necessary for you to place your mind in quietude and tranquility. You must provoke sleep. Let yourself fall asleep without thoughts. While conserving your sleep like a precious treasure, rise from your bed and leave your bedroom. If the practice has been performed well, then your body will enter the jinn state, meaning that it will submerge within the suprasensible worlds. A body while in the jinn state can float in the air, laghima, or be submerged within the waters, plakanya, or pass through fire without being burned, or be reduced to the size of an atom, anima, or be enlarged to the point of touching the sun, mahima, or sun or moon, mahima. A submerged body within the suprasensible worlds is submitted to the laws of those worlds. Then this body is plastic and elastic, so it can change form, decrease its weight, laghima, or increase its weight, garima, willingly. The yogi of Benares was able to submerge himself within the waters for 6 months because, firstly, he was placing his body in the jinn state. Some devotees or devotes who were practicing meditation in order to place the physical body in jinn state were feeling the sensation of being enlarged or inflated like a balloon. If those devotes would have risen from their beds in those moments, when they were feeling that sensation, they would have had the joy of entering into the jinn state. When Jesus was walking upon the waters of the Sea of Galilee, he was having his body in the state of jinn. Peter was able to liberate himself from the chains and to leave the prison, thanks to the assistance of an angel who helped him place his body in the jinn. The heavenly Jerusalem of the microcosmic human being is filled with formidable divine powers. You will develop the 8 great mystical powers with internal meditation, and then you will become a living model for the future heavenly Jerusalem. A great deal of patience and many years of practice are needed in order to educate, develop, and completely strengthen the 8 great mystical powers. The devout must be patient with these practices of jinn to persevere days, months, and years, if necessary, until educing, developing, and totally strengthening the 8 great mystical powers. We were able to work with the nature while in jinn state, with the powers of the 7 churches. To have faith, tenacity, patience, chastity, charity, and supreme love for humanity is necessary. All of these virtues are indispensable. Thus, this is how you will obtain the development of the 8 great mystical powers of your own heavenly Jerusalem. These 8 great mystical powers belong to the 7 churches. Those who become weary and who are inconsistent, and those who commit adultery with Jezebel, who called herself a prophetess, will never obtain the development of the 8 mystical powers of the saints. We perform the perfect priesthood of the 7 churches while we are in jinn state. Every human being who is Christified becomes a living exponent, a living example of the future Jerusalem. All of the internal vehicles of the human being shine with the glory of the Lamb when they have been Christified and stigmatized. Really, this is the holy tabernacle of God and human beings. The Lord dwells within his holy tabernacle. This is the heavenly Jerusalem endowed with terribly divine powers. The sun and moon do not need to shine upon the heavenly Jerusalem because the immaculate clarity of the Eternal One illuminates it, and the Lamb is its light. The Holy 8 is the sign of infinity. The 2 witnesses of the apocalypse are entwined around the spinal medulla, thus they are forming the Holy 8. All of the mystical powers of the heavenly Jerusalem emanate from this Holy 8. Now the devout can better comprehend why we speak of 8 mystical ineffable powers. And he measured the wall thereof, and 144 cubits, according to the measure of a man, that is of the angel. 1 + 4 + 4 = 9. To descend into the ninth sphere, or the sexual alchemy, in order to work with the water and the fire is necessary. This is the source of worlds, beasts, human beings, and gods. Every authentic white initiation begins here. The Son of Man is born from the water and the fire. And he that spoke with me had a golden reed to measure the city, and the gates thereof, and the wall thereof. This golden reed is the spinal medulla. The 7 degrees of the power of fire rise through the spinal medulla. Grasp strongly your reed so that you can perform the priesthood of the saints. You can become citizens of the future Jerusalem with anticipation. Just as the birds enjoy the breaking of the dawn in the east and fill the forest with sweet sounds of their touching songs, as well, the dawn of the Eternal One shines with living examples of the new Jerusalem before the future ineffable Jerusalem. Let your internal powers be developed. Do not covet powers. Do not wish for powers. Cultivate your lotus flowers with disinterested love. Cultivate your precious and delicate internal garden, just as the poor gardener cultivates his garden. When your lotus flowers begin to shine, remember that all of your powers are nothing but miserable candlelights which shine like glowworms before the resplendent sun, who is your immolated lamb. You are not the master. You are only the shining shadow, the sinning shadow of him who has never sinned. Remember that only your internal lamb is the master. Remember that even your internal God is a hierarch of fire. You, poor slug, are only a human being, and as a human being you will always be judged. Your internal lamb could be a planetary god. But you, poor slug of the mud, do not forget. Always remember that you are only the shadow of your God. Poor sinning shadow. Do not say, I am this God or I am this master, because you are only a shadow that must resolve to die and be slaughtered in order to not serve as an obstacle for your internal God. It is necessary for you to reach supreme humbleness.